Rumours has been making the rounds that Halo Infinite will not be coming to the Xbox One due to performance issues. Well, you know what happens when you listen to rumours. You get
a big dick in your mouth.
Welcome everybody, and thank you for joining me. So I just wanted to make a quick video on this topic, correcting a few things. Last week rumours were making the rounds that Microsoft and 343 Studios was thinking of dropping support for the Xbox One due to performance issues they were having. That means that Halo Infinite will only be available on next generation consoles and the PC. Now when I covered this story, it did seem a bit strange that they would be doing that, since Microsoft has made a big deal about not forcing people to upgrade their consoles right away. But if there were in fact performance issues, the move did make sense, especially since the league also claimed that the game will be pushed back all the way to 2022. Now a lot of people took this leak seriously because it did come from a verified insider. Well, 343 has now responded to all of those claims, and they did have the following to say: "We are seeing a lot of fake leaks out there, so please don't believe everything that you read. There are no plans to change the 2021 release or the device and the platform we will be supporting. We are building Halo Infinite to be the best it can be on each device/platform." Phil Spencer also had the following to say when it comes to the whole held back thing. "Frankly, held back is a meme that gets created by people who get too caught up by the device competition," Phil Spencer said in an interview. "I just look at Windows. It's almost certain that if a developer is building a Windows version of their game, then the most powerful and highest fidelity version is the PC version. You can see that with some of our first party console games going to PC, even from our competitors, that the richest version of the game is the PC version. Yet the PC ecosystem is the most diverse when it comes to hardware when you are thinking about CPUs and GPUs from years ago that are there. So based on that, it does look like Halo Infinite will be on all platforms, including the soon to be old generation consoles. Well, now the question becomes, should this game be available on all Xbox devices? Now I've always said that I like the fact that Microsoft is continuing to support all of the old devices for a while, but I am starting to get a bit concerned because I do not want the performance of the Xbox Series X to suffer. We had 7 great years of gaming on the Xbox One, and there does come a time when hardware needs to be left behind. Now Phil Spencer says that the whole held back thing is not true, but that is hard to believe. To Phil Spencer's earlier point, PCs does have the most diverse set of hardware, but that does not mean that all of the hardware has the power to meet the minimum requirements of all AAA games. That is why a lot of the hardware gets left behind. They will take a game and develop it with different settings in mind. That means that your gaming experience will be determined based on the hardware that you have. They will develop a game for 1080p, 1440p, 4K and so on. If you take the latest Tomb Raider game for example, if you have a GTX 1060, you get to experience the game in 1080p 60 frames. If you have a GTX 1070, you get to experience the game in 1440p, and if you have a 1080 Ti, you get to experience the game in 4K. However, just because they develop a game for all resolutions does not mean that you have the hardware to reach any of those resolutions, because as the game gets better, the minimum requirements to reach 1080p also gets higher. 10 years ago, a GTX 480 might have been enough to play any of the latest AAA games at 1080p, but now the minimum requirements for the latest game is a 970 for example. So yes, the PC version of the game is the best version, and yes, the PC hardware is the most diverse, but you cannot overlook the minimum requirements. Now the question becomes, what is the minimum requirements to run a game like Halo Infinite on console and get 1080p 60 frames, and does the normal Xbox One that is 7 years old meet those requirements, or do they have to make incredible sacrifices in order to get there and leave out some important detail in the game? We know that console games get optimized differently to reach a resolution target, but there does become a time when the hardware is just too old for a game. Now I'm not saying that I do not want this game to be on the Xbox One, and maybe I am missing some important detail and there won't be any issues with the game. I guess we will have to wait and see. But on that note, this is where I'm going to end it. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you would like to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing, and as always, please remember to stay safe, wash your hands, don't touch your face, and I hope to see you again soon.